Good morning. Welcome back. Today, after learning the elements that how elements are segregated in the different blocks, today we are going to learn something more related to the elements. So, what is ionization energy? Now we need to learn the different terms regarding the elements, how each element or how each block elements differs from the other block elements. So, the uh, these terms, that is ionization energy, these are the terms: ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity. We need to understand these properties of the elements. How do they differ? First comes ionization energy. So what is ionization energy? From the name you might be thinking that ionization means converting into the ions. Yes, absolutely correct, that the ionization energy is the energy required to remove 1 mole of the most loosely held electrons from 1 mole of gaseous atoms to produce 1 mole of gaseous ions with a positive charge. As you can see here, let's take any element which is in the gaseous state, and we need to remove the electron from it. Which electron we are going to remove? We are going to remove the outermost shell electron, and we are going to remove one by one electron. At a time, only one electron can be removed. You cannot remove more than one electron at a time. If you want to remove 2 electrons from that element, you need to go stepwise only. So X gaseous gives X plus gaseous plus electron. Then I want to remove one more electron from these positive charged ion. So again I will be removing in the next step the one electron, and it will gain one more positive. So it becomes 2 positive charge. Hence, I repeat, what is ionization energy? Ionization energy is the energy required to remove 1 mole of the most loosely held electrons from 1 mole of gaseous atoms to produce 1 mole of gaseous ions with a positive charge. Next, what are the factors affecting ionization potential? So first factor is atomic size. Larger the atomic size, smaller is the ionization potential. Now, why it is so? Let's check. Here we have 3 different elements with the electronic configuration you can see. That is lithium, sodium and potassium. These elements are of group 1. S block elements. As you can see, atomic number of lithium is 3. So hence, in first shell it has 2 electron, and in the outermost shell it has only 1 electron. But if you see the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell, then it is less, because the outermost shell is near to the nucleus of an atom. Whereas if we look to the sodium, the atomic number is 11, hence it is 281. So in the first shell it is having 2 electrons. In the second shell it is having 8 electrons. And in the third shell it is having 1 electron. As per Bohr's atomic model, the arrangement of the electrons as he has suggested, right? Or we can say the distribution of electrons in the definite shell. So it is 281. Now you can see here, from lithium to sodium, the number of shells got increased. Then when we move to potassium, one more shell is increased. So you can see that as we are moving from top to bottom in a group, that is, or we can say that as the atomic number is increased, the number of shells are increasing, and hence the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases, which results into the increase in atomic size. Hence, we can say it is easy to remove the outermost shell electrons. As the distance increases, it becomes very easy. So we can say larger the atomic size, smaller is the ionization potential because it becomes very easy to remove. Hence, less energy is utilized to remove the outermost shell electron. Next, you can take few examples of oxygen, fluorine, neon, as well as sodium. Right, lithium is 3, oxygen 8, it is 9, neon and sodium. Now, what will happen? Here you can see the number of electrons are increasing in the same shell. So, here we will contradict with the things. Okay, but here you can see the atomic size is increased. So definitely the ionization potential of sodium is less than the ionization potential of these many elements. Next comes effective nuclear charge, which is symbolized as Z effective, which is based on the atomic number. So what they have told, ionization potential increases with the increase in nuclear charge between the outermost electron and nucleus. Screening effect. Now screening effect is very important. So what is screening effect? So it's very much necessary to understand that what is screening effect. Can anybody please think about what is screening effect? You can think about the screen, right? The word that is having screen in it and its effect. So what it will be? Screening effect is referred as shielding effect as well. Now what is it? Shielding, to create a shield. हम जब war I mean when we go for a war, for our protections, we do have a shield. है ना? You might have watched Avengers as well. Captain America is having a shield with him. So that means it gives protection. Hence, the shielding effect is often referred as atomic shielding or electron shielding, which describes the attraction between an electron and the nucleus in any atom with more than one electron. Right. Again, we can define it in terms as a reduction in the effective nuclear charge on the electron cloud due to a difference in the attraction forces on the electrons in an atom. So we can say the phenomenon which occurs, that means which phenomenon we are talking about, screening effect or shielding effect. The phenomenon which occurs when the nucleus reduces its force of attraction on the valence electrons, on the valence electron due to the presence of electrons in the inner shell. I hope it is clear to you. I repeat one more time. The phenomenon which occurs when the nucleus reduces its force of attraction on the valence electrons due to the presence of electrons in the inner shell. Valence electron means the electron present in the outermost shell. Hence, penetration power of subshells and stability of half-filled and fully filled orbital is more. So, higher is the screening effect on the outermost electrons, causes less attraction from the nucleus and can be easily removed, which is leading to the lower value of ionization potential. We do have few exceptions to the general pattern, right, of first ionization energy, that is the ionization energy. Now IE1 means ionization energy. The first ionization energy of boron is less than that of beryllium. Now we can see that beryllium is having atomic number 4, whereas boron is having atomic number 5. Here you can see the graph that I have given to you. That is the ionization energy versus the atomic number, the first ionization energy. Right, as you can see, lithium is having less atomic number, so it has less ionization potential, whereas beryllium is having more atomic number and it is having more ionization potential. So in that same order, boron should also have the more ionization potential than the beryllium, but it is not so. Now we will check why it is not so. As we have seen in the previous slide about the fully filled and half filled orbitals. In the screening effect, so here the screening effects acts on it. The electronic configuration of beryllium is helium core 2s2. Now 2s2, we know maximum electrons can be accommodated in s orbital is 2. So here you can see that s orbital is completely filled. Whereas in case of boron, you can see that is it is 2s2 and 2p1. 2p1 which is not completely filled, only one electron is filled in 2p1. Hence, the electron present in 2p1 can be easily removed. Then the electron present in 2s orbital, because it is inner core orbital which is very much attracted towards the nucleus of an atom, whereas here the nucleus loses its attraction on the outermost valence shell. Hence, as electrons can be easily removed from 2p orbital, therefore the first ionization energy of boron is less than that of beryllium. Similarly, the first ionization energy of oxygen is less than that of nitrogen. So whenever we talk about the ionization energy, we need to check the electronic configuration. We need to check how electrons are present in its valence shell. Here in nitrogen, it is 2s2 and 2p3. We know that maximum electrons can be accommodated in p orbital is 6. Now it is having 3, which is exactly half filled. That means half filled orbitals are more stable than the incompletely filled orbitals. So here the half filled stability acts on nitrogen. Hence, by looking to the electronic configuration, we can conclude that nitrogen is more stable than oxygen, because in nitrogen the valence shell electrons is or valence shell is half filled, which is more stable. Hence, the energy required to remove the electrons from the stable shells is more than that of the unstable shell. I hope this concept is clear to you. Next, let us see how first, second, third and fourth ionization energies of sodium, magnesium and aluminium differs from each other. Okay, we know the electronic configuration of sodium is neon core 3s1, whereas magnesium is neon core 3s2. Now this is completely filled, so this is more stable than sodium, than aluminium. Hence, we can say the first ionization energy. How will be the first ionization energy pattern for sodium, magnesium and aluminium? Now it is very much clear from the electronic configuration of sodium, magnesium and aluminium that first ionization energy of sodium is less than that of the magnesium. Right. Whereas the first ionization energy of aluminium is also less than that of magnesium, but it is more than sodium because the shell is increased. It comes into 3p. Okay, now let's have a look about second ionization energy. Now to go ahead with second ionization energy, let's look into the equations given over here. Now when sodium gas releases, the energy required to remove one electron it gets into Na plus. Now after removing one electron from sodium, the electronic configuration becomes neon core 3s0. Now neon core means it is the noble gases. Right. So it's really very difficult to remove an electron from noble gases and to form Na2 plus or Na3 plus. Right. So the ionization energy, the second ionization energy of sodium is very high than magnesium and then aluminium. Whereas if you take the case of magnesium, after removing first electron, then it becomes 3s1, which is easy to remove. Hence the energy is not that high. Similarly, in aluminium, when first electron is removed, it attains this stable configuration. So again, it becomes difficult to remove the electron from this stable configuration. Hence, there is a change in the ionization energy. So whenever this concept is asked, you need to note down the electronic configuration first, and then you should answer this kind of questions. Here I have tried to show you a graph of ionization energy versus the atomic number from the elements atomic number 1 to 18. So try to check the difference, the variation, and try to compare with the electronic configuration. Then it becomes very easy for you to correlate. Next, we are going to talk about the group 8A elements. Why group 8A elements? Because as you can see, its electronic configuration is Ns2np6, which means your noble gases we are talking about. Now, completely filled Ns and Np subshells have the highest ionization energy of all elements, because these elements, they don't have any tendency to accept extra electrons or to lose. Now we need to talk about a basic definition or special term, that is isoelectronic ions. What are isoelectronic ions? Iso, you have talked about in your lower grades, that is the sides, when two sides are equal. So here as well, ions contain the same number of electrons. I repeat, ions contain the same number of electrons are called as isoelectronic ions. For example, let's take an example of sodium ion. It is neon core, that means 10 electrons. Let's take an example of aluminum ion, which is again an aluminum 3 plus. That means 3 electrons are removed from the aluminum, so which is again neon core. Then F minus, fluorine, means having 9 electron, minus 1, that means it has gained 1 electron. This is again 10 electrons. O2 minus, 10 electrons. N3 minus, 10 electrons. So Na plus, Al3 plus, F minus, O2 minus, and N3 minus, these all are coming under the isoelectronic ions having 10 electrons in it. So ion with less proton is bigger in size. I repeat, ion with less protons is bigger. Right, N3 minus is greater than, O2 minus greater than F minus, and so on. Now, what are cations and what are anions, and how can we compare their sizes? That is, cation is always smaller than atom from which it is formed. Why? What are cations? Cations are the positive ions that is formed after losing electron. You can see here lithium. Originally it's so big, but when it becomes lithium ion, the size of the ion reduces. Whereas fluorine, its size is small, but when it gains electron, its size increases. So you need to remember, right? that cation is always smaller than atom from which is formed, and anion is always larger than the atom from which it is formed, because here the number of electron decreases, whereas here the number of electron increases, which increase the atomic size, ionic size. Now, what is electron affinity? Electron affinity of an element is the energy given off when a neutral atom in the gas phase gains an extra electron to form a negatively charged ion. Right, in ionization energy, it loses an electron, whereas in electron affinity, it gains an electron and acquire the negative charge. For example, a fluorine atom in the gas phase, when it gains electron to form a fluoride ion, its change in enthalpy becomes minus 328 kilojoule per mole. Electron affinity becomes less negative down a group. That is, as the principal quantum number, here what is n? Principal quantum number. As the principal quantum number increases, size of the orbital increases and the electron affinity decreases. Whereas electron affinity decreases or increases across a period depending on electronic configuration. Since a half-filled subshell is more stable, carbon has greater affinity for an electron than nitrogen. Right, here comes its electronic configuration. Because nitrogen is half-filled, so it is more stable. Hence, carbon can attract more electrons, affinity, positivity. Okay. Next is the halogens have high affinities for electrons. I repeat, the halogens have high affinities for electron. That is, more negative energy is equals to greater affinity. Here we have a series, that is fluorine's electron affinity is smaller than chlorine. Why? Because fluorine atomic size is very small, right, where it experiences higher electron repulsion compared to the larger 3p orbital of chlorine. Right. So this is the 17th group elements where we say fluoro, chloro, bromo, iodo, ethene. Thank you. I hope you have understood how the trends, right, how the properties of elements shows variation with respect to ionization energy and electron affinity. In the next video, we will learn about the electronegativity and how these three are related to each other. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned, stay connected. Thank you. Have a nice day.